Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Where's my... There we go. I wonder where my applause was for a minute, but I'd lost my button, but I found it. I found it again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TNG Review Show with myself, Monteban, Massive Bob, Tavikins Turner, and Chief Sean. How are you doing, everyone?
Doing good, thank you very much.
I've been a bit cold this evening, so I've got my hoodie on, and I've just realised you're all coming out of my speakers, and because I haven't got my. Bear with me a moment, because that means sound's not going to be working properly. I've messed. I've gone old school.
You need to go on, I say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hang on, everyone. Bear with me.
We can still talk, can't we? We can fill in while you're fixing that.
Right, hopefully.
It is also chilly here, so I guess in our terms, the life support systems are operating at a little less than optimal where I am.
Yeah, quite.
So chilly.
Chilly, I thought you were in Norway.
Hang on. There you go.
Oh, Sean, I love you. Always ready.
Oh, there we go. My button's a bit sticky. Yes, hopefully, Mazma Bob, can you tell me whether, Smiler Rainbow, can you tell me whether you can hear now? Sean, where did you get those animated backdrops? That looks fantastic.
There's just a guy on YouTube. He just has videos of Zoom backgrounds. He just said, "Here's me talking for a minute," and after I stopped talking, just cut it out and put it in a loop, which is exactly what I did. Yeah, big fan of that one. There is also hold on.
That's a real good one. I like that one.
That one. This one isn't as impressive. You can see the L cards going and stuff, but yeah, I definitely think the core is.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Good evening to everyone in live chat. So good evening to Subspace Chatter. Good evening to you, sir. Good evening to Stu Plum. Smiler Rainbow. Good you're on board this evening. and Ruth. Is Ruth around? Ruth
Yeah,
is.
No,
I'll say, have you sent her? She's in the studio. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey. Good evening, Ruth.
Yes.
Surprise, welcome aboard.
Oh my God, she's in red. Command red.
Command red. Yeah.
Look at your backdrop as
Oh,
well.
love
That's
it.
awesome.
Ruth's in
Is that
charge.
Isaac? Wait, we talked about this
It
last
looks like
time.
Isaac,
No.
yeah.
But is it C? No, it was
C3PO,
C3PO, and it was
yeah.
in the C or
yes,
something.
Of course it is.
It's very cool. Very,
That's very
very cool.
Oh, it's Mr. Tabikins here. No, Mr. Tabikins is driving, so he'll stop whenever he gets one of his forced trucker breaks and drop in.
Uh-huh.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, Maz, how have you been this week? Have you been well?
Yeah, I've been good. Just ticking along, work, trying to get stuff done for Christmas. I've got a pile of presents gradually growing for stuff that I'm getting, and I've written most of my cards, so I'm kind of getting there, but I'm still quietly panicking in the back of my head somewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you on that sort of running headlong into Christmas panic mode. Yeah, frantically trying to find things on Amazon that would be delivered in time.
Yep, I'm with you.
I have all of my kids shopping to do, and the grandparents have sent us money, and they're like, "We're not paying for the shipping. Just go buy all the stuff we wanted." And they gave us a list of things to get that don't exist in Norway, and I'm like, "A what? A what?" Here's the money.
Well, I spent Christmas at my sister's house in Northern Ireland, so it can work out quite well because depending on what I'm buying and what the shipping is, sometimes it comes to me and sometimes it goes to her because a lot of things don't ship to Ireland or they ship to Ireland with big shipping on them. So just depends.
Yeah. And Ruth, how are you? Are you having a nice week?
You're on mute.
I think you're on mute. Can't hear you there.
It's hard to say mute, Ruth. It's right. That cuts me out.
Yeah, there's not like a mute symbol, but
No.
we just can't hear you.
Yeah, we're not getting any audio mute.
I wonder if you can go to your mic settings and
assume you can hear
make sure you got the right mic set. Okay.
We'll work on
We'll-
that.
we'll-
let you
yes.
work on.
Right. This stream's started as our streams sometimes normally do. It's kind of like we've gone back a year. We've regressed. Instead of going to season 5, we've gone back to season 2. Yeah. But, anyway, right. So this evening we're here to talk about season 5 episode Darmok. Darmok is.
You hate this episode, don't you, Monty Pan?
It's one of my favourites.
One of my favourites.
I love it.
Now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There you go.
I always forget that there's an extra switch on the headset.
Ah, brilliant.
Yes, I've got one of those as well. It mutes me out halfway through if I brush it off the wrong way.
How have you been this week, Ruth?
Yes, good, thank you.
Oh, good.
Only working 3 days this week, so it's all good.
Are you on that sort of build down to Christmas kind of like?
Well, just got to use some days up before the end of the year, and I'm working all of the normal days at Christmas, so
right.
So I take some days this week instead.
Nice. Yes, Darmok. So
And I brought the blood wine.
Oh, you've got the blood wine.
So have I. I've got a Nero d'Avola Sicilia, whatever that means. It tastes a little bit dodgy, actually, a little bit like the wine that our granddad used to make when we were younger. So not so sure about this one.
No.
But I do have
gonna...
these two also from my advent calendar for when I'm done on this one.
So. Oh, so you got other options.
Yeah, well, I've got a Merlot and I've got the Gooseberry Bush. It's a South African Sauvignon Blanc.
I'm going to guess the Ovola Siciliana is a Sicilian devil, but I might be slightly wrong.
I've got a cup of tea this evening in my Darmok and Gelada at Tanagra cup.
Funny.
So,
I've got a blood wine Capri Sun. So that's what I call it. That's all I can get right.
Weizbier. Direkt aus Deutschland. It's sehr geschmeckt.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Darmok. Yes, it's episode 2 of season 5, production number 40275-202. It first aired on the 30th of September 1991 and was the 101st episode to be both produced and released. The teleplay was by Joe Menosky, story by Philip Lazebnik. I think Lazebnik. I think I got that right.
Lazebnik, yeah, sounds about right.
Lazebnik, yeah.
I thought you were saying laser beam.
Yeah, Laserbeam. Yeah, Philip Laserbeam. But he's not Australian.
He never played Bond.
No. It was his second of 2 episodes we talked about before. And Joe Menosky, we've talked about him a lot recently within Theory, and this is his 6th of 15 episodes. It was directed by Winrick Kolb, his 9th of 16. Again, we've talked about
Winrick,
yes.
Yeah, but they just called him Rick on set. Colby, yeah.
Colby. Yes, yeah. Yeah. So, again, no trailer because there's still nothing on TrekCore, but the trailers have gone, it looks like, forever, for reasons I do not know why. Sad times. Sad times. Let me just get the first picture up instead.
Tavi coming up on the 40. It says in chat.
Oh, really?
Big 4-0.
The big 4-0.
That's in my rear view.
I remember it so long ago. Yeah.
And Sean's like 40. God, I'm not even 30.
I'm 37, but it was
you're
kind of.
37.
But I did get asked for
younger.
ID once after I turned 36, and I was like, "Are you 18?" And I was like, "Yeah, twice."
I get asked for ID sometimes. It's crazy. Some
You
places
have a
though.
baby face, Sean. You
Used to never get
wear
asked
your
when I was
age well.
15. I get asked now.
Yeah,
I'm also
same.
6'2" and about 19 stone, which is about 120 kilos, or maybe a bit more than that.
There are some
And,
places though that just
the-
ask everyone just to be sure.
Yeah.
They asked my mum
the-
once. She's like in her 70s.
Oh, I see in chat, subspace chat has not been feeling well recently with a chest infection. So I hope you get well soon, I hope you're well now. Yes.
Well, the tropical climate up in Scotland at this time of year, I'm sure, will soon put him right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's famous
Warmer
for
than
its
Norway.
blissful weather.
Yes. So it's as Dan says there, this is a obligatory D-pick to start the episode off. And we jump into the teaser where the Enterprise is en route to the uninhabited system of El Adrel.
Yeah, great D-pick, both width and girth.
Yep. It has everything. A nearby ample nacelles. The nearby enigmatic race known as the Tamarians, or the Children of Tamar, arrived at El Adril some weeks ago and have been signaling towards Federation space ever since. It's changing picture. Brought this picture up first just because this side showing the new lights under the windows for season 5. They've added these like grill-like lights under the windows.
I think, based on what I read, this episode was filmed shortly after they'd just wrapped up. I think they did Star Trek 6 during the summer. And when they weren't using the sets, and this was obviously redressed as the dining room for the with the Romulan ale and all the Shakespeare quotes. So the reason why it was changed was for a redress for the film, but naturally enough, some of the changes got rolled into the season. So that's the reason why it changed for season 5. It's that upgrades for the film.
Yeah, and it was the same with Data's quarters. He's got redesigned quarters in this because his previous set was turned into Kirk and Spock's quarters, and then they demolished that after filming and created a new set of quarters for Data.
How annoyed would you be if you're the set designer in TNG? I know they inherited most of their sets, but it's just like you're going like, oh yeah, that one, yeah, we threw it out. Well, okay.
Damn. Yeah. They also, of course, in this one, have gotten rid of the wall of enterprises, gold enterprises.
Oh yeah.
And we now got these, like, I don't know what they are. Wall decoration, I guess.
Whatever he's talking about.
So-
Yes.
But what do we think in chat? Do we prefer the observation lounge with the enterprises on the wall, or
Yeah.
these angular columns?
I like the Enterprises.
Definitely
Yeah,
Enterprise.
I like my ship posting. Yeah, has to be. They brought him back for First Contact, and I'm glad they did. You know that they changed it back. But I will say one thing: when they went to make These Are the Voyages, the finale of Enterprise, they still actually had the set. For some reason, it was never trashed, so they were able to They didn't recreate it; they just reused it. Took it out of flat pack storage, put it back together, so they could use it for that episode.
Yeah, one of the producers, I can't remember which one, took them away, and he has them in his like office at home on the wall,
Git.
all mounted on the wall. I've seen pictures of them. He still has them on the wall today.
All right for some, isn't it?
It's amazing the amount of stuff they threw out that was worth money. Shatner's original chair, Captain Kirk's chair, someone took it off the skip back in the 60s, and they sold it for about $300,000. Now, it was for charity, but they sold it for someone who took it off the skip. Okay, maybe he didn't get $300,000 for it, but he got something, a couple of tens of thousands or 50,000 maybe. And yeah, Shatner actually did a charity auction and sold it for 300 grand to whoever has it.
Wow.
I think it's in the Smithsonian
Yeah,
now.
nobody's. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the old wall in the observation lounge or the new one? Let us know. Let us know in chat.
So they've gone somewhere to get some upgrades, and all they've done is just aesthetic columns and lights. That's all they've changed.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, whatever change they made for Undiscovered Country when they rolled them back, I think it does make it easier to kind of flat pack it and take it up and take it down. It's more
Yeah,
no
I
other way
guess
to say it.
so,
It's more
yeah.
flat pack. It looks like it can disassemble into sections more easily. So that's and as I said, that's why it was kept for Enterprise.
Picard obviously didn't like it because when they brought it back, he ended up smashing it to pieces anyway.
This line should be drawn here.
Yes.
This far, no further.
So, Picard here is meeting with his senior staff in the observation lounge. Data tells them that each meeting with the Tellarians has been difficult as communication with them has proved impossible. But question one, according to Data, how many times have Federation vessels encountered Temerian ships over the last 100 years? Have they encountered them A, 2 times, B, 3 times, C, 7 times, or D, 20 times? How many times have Federation vessels encountered Temerian ships over the last 200 years?
Oh, just before you get to the episode, I just want to say yesterday was the 20th anniversary of Nemesis. So when we think of New Trek,
Really?
or relatively modern, yeah, that was 20 years old yesterday. It is drinking in a pub.
Oh my!
What?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh.
So we were
Yeah,
saying
back-
a little while ago, Tavana, you're not old. We're not old.
I struggled to wrap my head around that one.
When Ben played a version of Picard.
Did we just go through,
She's to the truth.
yeah, did we just go through a time warp or something? Yeah. Right. Oh, no, don't do that, because that's going to send it in the wrong direction. Pictures. There you go.
But Dan likes the Enterprises as well, and so does Stuplum,
Yeah.
and so does Smiler. I think it's pretty
And
much
everybody
unanimous.
does. Why would
I-
anyone choose grey columns?
No, I know. I preferred the ships as well. It was kind of sad to see them go.
And famously, if you have a secret ship and have an admiral like the USS Vengeance and it's top secret Section 31 stuff, you will just have a model of it in your admiral's office and make sure everyone sees it because that's how you keep things top secret.
absolutely. Whilst wearing your special pin that denotes you as being top secret agent. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Section 31 special badges. Really?
I feel
Okay.
it's a lot like serial killers, where they're like eventually they just want you to know they did it and they hope you figure it out, so they keep dropping clues.
Yeah. That's what it is.
They just want attention.
So Worf thinks maybe this is worrying and they could be a threat to their borders, but Troy points out that they're known to be peaceful. Picard believes they are extending a hand of friendship, and he wants a crack at building a way to communicate with them. Good for him. There's a good shot of the Temerian ship approaching them when they arrive.
Yeah. It looks like they redid a Star Destroyer.
It does like a bit like at the front, doesn't it? It's got like a bit of a front of a Star Destroyer here.
When you see it,
This is a redress of the Talarian ship we saw a few episodes ago. So yeah, I just wanted to show that picture because I thought it was a good shot.
My favorite redresses are when they use kit bashes of things, or even especially if they use production models, like Bird of Prey comes out, and then they just buy the off-the-shelf kits and they use them in shots for like the Dominion War. Absolutely my favorite thing. Like at one stage in Doctor Who, for the first season of the revival, they had a sonic screwdriver prop that kept breaking. So the second season they just used the toy that they'd released in the same year.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
oh
They
my
haven't tried
goodness.
too hard here, have they? It's just a plain panel with a big button in the middle, and that's all they've bothered to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is the console that's used for like the Romulan ships and the Ferengi shuttle, and loads of ships have had this like front console on it.
Basically everything.
Ferengi has the R2D2 kind of dome, doesn't it?
Everything you see is a reuse.
Yeah, it
pretty
is.
much.
It is.
The graphics on the glass is slightly different, and they've removed the domes from the Ferengi thing, but it's all just cobbled together. It's a kit bash. Or a set
Maybe
bash,
it's like
if you
those interchangeable pieces where there's a car company that just supplies the basic kits, or IKEA pieces that everyone has in their home.
Yeah.
And that's how the starships are in this.
That's what they do. They just bolt them together. Yeah.
Like you
More
need a
Pac-Man thing.
console.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pac-Man. Let me get one of those Honda Accord interiors.
So they've arrived and they establish communications, but the Temerian captain starts talking gibberish. Looking frustrated, the Temerians talk slower to see if that helps, but it doesn't.
Yeah, because as we all know, when you're abroad, if you're stuck in Spain or something, and people don't understand English, it's fine. You just speak slowly, and they'll eventually
And
understand.
louder, slower and louder.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, they'll suddenly understand your language if you do that. That's fine. It always works.
It does
Two
work if your main thing
beers.
is get away from me.
Okay, Picard tries from his side. He tries his best and starts jabbering on about establishing non-aggression treaties, which, to be frank, was never going to work. And he doesn't get anywhere either. So the Temerians start an argument amongst themselves over what sounds like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. But eventually, the captain seems to win the argument and draws two daggers and exclaims to Picard, Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. And they beam Captain Picard and their own captain down to the planet's surface. And they also deploy a scattering field so that the Enterprise cannot beam them back.
I'm going to guess how they did that effect was just glitter and water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you see it? Yeah, just against the black screen and then double exposed or what have you. Looks fairly obvious in that respect.
Yeah. Picard ends up on the planet face to face with a Temerian captain who appears to be armed with two daggers. So not a great situation to find yourself in. And that's the end of the teaser.
It's quite a long teaser compared to the last sort of few weeks.
It was a long teaser. Yes, it was.
And was there any sign of Batman in those scenes, or did they stumble upon his cave perhaps? It's in that general area, wasn't it?
Oh, what I see. Yes.
You mean because it was in wherever the Bronson Canyon?
Yeah. That's to my knowledge or to my memory. I think that's where they shot Batman, or not Batman, but where they come out of the cave. It's in that area.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Picard's
They
wearing.
also did part of the. Was it there's the episode Ensign Rowe was also partly filmed here as well, so they did a bit of a double dip on being on location for this, I think.
Yeah, I wondered did they shoot them at the same time, given that they had to have, as I said, on-set catering and everything. Hopefully, you'd imagine they would.
Yeah. They Picard's got his new action uniform.
Good job he was wearing that, considering he's going on a field trip.
Yeah.
Do you have that action figure, Monty?
I do. I do. Yeah.
Why does that not surprise me?
Was that today's guest?
He's got that uniform as well, I think. Oh no, it's the grey one he's got, isn't it?
I don't know. Have I got it here?
The other thing I was going to say about this while you're searching is this was one of the longest episodes to make in terms of its gestation period, because Michael Piller came up with the idea and Rick Berman wasn't interested, so he gave it to Joe Menosky. And they're originally going to have it. There he is.
There he is.
I think I might have him too.
But they were always going to make it about a language thing, but apparently originally they were going to make it where like there was a kid playing and he says like Darmok or something, and then different crew members come along and none of them respond correctly, so they go into some kind of cocoon, and then eventually Picard comes along and realizes that the kid is saying playing, and so he starts to play with him, and then they start to sort of build this language. And then who was it? Was it Menosky? Saw Dances with Wolves, and there's this bit where Kevin Costner, it's Kevin Costner in it, Dancing with Wolves, is like around a campfire with this sort of Native American guy, and they try and work out the language, and he was like, that's what it needs to be, like two people around a campfire trying to work on their differences and build language. So yeah, and then the idea was reborn, and everybody loved it.
Cool.
A long time in the making.
Dan says, is it Griffith Park? It could be. I know that's another very popular shooting location around LA. I think a lot of like Knight Rider shots were done around there.
It'd be funny if I was ever there. The first place I'd want to go is the Tillman Water Reclamation Park.
Oh, Starfleet Academy.
There's a water recycling plant with a Japanese garden around it. It's like, oh yes, definitely on my to-do list if I ever happen to be in LA.
Again, that's another a popular Knight Rider for shooting locations.
And Griffith Observatory and Bronson Canyon, Vasquez Rocks, all of them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So as that was the end, we've got the answer to question 1. According to data, how many times the Federation vessel encountered Tamarian ships over the last 100 years? And I'm not covered in B's, I should be covered in C's.
Pretty much, I think everybody said C.
Excuse me for a second.
Everybody, remove your headphones.
Yeah, it's going to be
because
loud.
there's going to be a. Go on then, Tabby.
Panko!
Yeah, Panko! Panko's in the house. Good evening to you, Supreme Panko. I hope you're well and ready for Christmas.
Yes, how are you, Panko?
Onwards to Act 1. Onwards and upwards. On the bridge, Data and Riker realize the Tamarians will not be able to beam through the interference also, but they are able to use their sensors to track Picard on the planet's surface. Worf thinks they're having some sort of contest. The two champions fighting it out for the ship's honor. But
Of course he is.
of course,
Exactly.
that's exactly what he was thinking. It's going to be some sort of like thing with like Kirk and the Gorn,
But to be fair, this next bit makes it look like it is.
It does look a bit that way, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, they are deliberately misleading you.
But they're not at Vasquez Rocks, so it's not quite there. Back on the planet, the Temerian is trying to get through to Picard. Darmok and Gerard. He also tried giving Picard one of the daggers, but Picard refused it, which left him in a bit of a shaka when the walls fell. Back on the bridge, Riker hails the Temerians and orders them to release the captain, but is met with Atul. His eyes are closed. Riker gives up with the conversation and orders Worf to hang up, which he gladly does. But question 2, what is the name of the star system that they are in? Is it A, El Adrel, B, El Orion, C, El Ora, or D, El Baz? So what's the name of the system that they're in? El Adrel, El Orion, El Ora, or El Baz? That's your question 2.
Nice question.
So we're back on the planet, and now night has fallen, and Picard's having problems building a fire, which the Temerian appears to have done with ease. Shaka, when the walls fell, is what Picard's thinking, but he doesn't even know it.
That is the most 80s. I know it was the 90s, but that vest he's wearing is the most. Actually, no, I suppose it is early 90s.
Yeah, it's kind
the
of
bright
an early
colors,
90s.
the matching pattern. It's like something on Saved by the Bell. It's like, oh god.
You can really see that we're in around season 1 of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's that kind of space Cosby sweater kind of style.
Yeah. Space Cosby sweater. That's yeah, it is like that. But yeah.
Space Cosby. Oh dear, you do not want to be put down on a planet with that guy. Then, if this is a situation.
Actually, I think the actor who plays this guy, I think he played the captain in Star Trek 3. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. Yeah.
Yeah, and him and LeVar Burton both starred in Roots, and also him and LeVar Burton at different times both played Martin Luther King.
Oh wow!
But he only has LeVar played Martin Luther King in Ali, and he played it in a series I think called King or something like that. And there was a sequel series to Roots, The Next Generation or something that was 2 years after LeVar Burton, and he was in it. So they have that in common.
Yeah. So Space Chat says Paul Winfield. Yeah.
For some reason, those are his only 2 credits, and they're both highly acclaimed. He's very good as Terrell, and he's very good as Darmok, and they're a fair distance apart in terms of time. So I think it was 1982 was Wrath of Khan, and this was
indeed.
Strange they didn't use him more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nearly 10 years later. It was 91 they were filming, so yeah. I don't know.
So they try to communicate a couple more times, but fail, and the Temerian captain removes some sort of brooch and takes it apart and places it around his campfire, and then prays or meditates or something of that nature. Then Picard, seeing Picard shivering, throws a flaming branch onto the floor for Picard to pick up. Tamba with his arms wide. Picard gets the gesture of giving and thanks the Temerian. And that was the end of Act 1. One thing I will say about his new action uniform that he has in Season 5, and he only has it in Season 5. After Season 5, I don't think it ever returns again. It's just for this season. In this first outing of it, it's got like leather striped shoulder pads. But after this episode, I think they decided they were too shiny and it wasn't really in keeping with the sort of Star Trek uniform. So they replaced the leather with like black material.
I will say I do wonder if that particular uniform might have inspired somewhat the First Contact uniform. But it's possible with that kind of quilted the divots on it. Yeah, for sure. And I think especially the second version of it has like the material quilts rather than the leather quilts, which is a lot similar to the similar to the way they had the Academy uniforms in the First Duty, and everyone thought they looked fantastic. So then they became the Voyager uniforms. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think it's like it's supposed to be like
back in TOS, I think it was the second season, Kirk got his sort of green wraparound uniform rather than the yellow one. So he had a sort of a semi-casual day uniform.
Well, technically speaking, they were both supposed to be green. It's just that the lighting made them look yellow. Well, it made some of them look yellow because the fabric that the command tunics were made of, just the way under the studio lights, turned out yellow. They were just washed out, just the way the lighting was in early Technicolor at the time.
Yeah. Anything else, Maz, from Act 1?
You covered that Winfield was also in Wrath of Khan, yeah?
Yes, he was the captain.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was
Captain...
multitasking.
I can't remember his name. Jarrell? Captain Jarrell?
Tyrell.
I was close.
Yeah. And obviously, this is the first introduction of this uniform, as you've mentioned, and it does change. No, I think you've got everything.
Got everything. So the answer to question 2 then, what was the name of the system? Was it El Adral, El Orion, Elora, or El Baz? And it was... What was it, Chief Sean?
It was El Dorado.
El Dorado.
Sorry, Eladrel.
Eladrel, yes. It was Eladrel.
Yeah, Elorion is the species of Whoopi, Guinan, and
species of Whoopi.
Soren, Elora, not quite sure where you're going for there. Elbaz is, it's A, a shuttle, and B, it's an astronomer from like the 15th century or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, good evening, evening, Wookie.
Yeah, we'll give you...
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. In your honour, I'm sure Chief Sean's about to change his location. There you go.
Hey!
There we go.
There you go.
How you getting on? Oh, damn it, wrong way. How you getting on?
El Orion, of course, is Guinan's race. El Ora is a star system that only appeared on a map in Deep Space Nine. And El Baz is what, Maz McBob?
Is a space station, I want to say.
Nope.
No. Oh, no, it's a shuttlecraft.
Yay, it's a shuttle pod. Yeah.
But all the shuttles on Star Trek are named after real life astronomers or astrophysicists. What was it?
Yes.
So yeah, it's one of the early ones back when the Muslim world had all the scientists in the world, all the stargazers.
Yep, that's the one. Right, Act 2. Riker decides to send Worf and a security officer in a shuttle down to the planet to rescue Picard. We've got this great shot of Type 6 shuttle.
The underbelly.
Flying under the Enterprise, yeah. This is another first for Season 5. We see the Type 6 shuttle for the first time.
Correctamundo.
Can you name the other?
I'm surprised. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm surprised that... I mean, that's what I always think of as TNG shuttles. You know, I've got a model of one. You can't quite make it out, but it's there on my shelf.
Is it bigger on the inside?
But I'm just surprised. I'm surprised it's taken this long that we're into Season 5, over halfway through TNG, and we finally see a Type 6 shuttle.
And of course, when they get to Voyager, there's a whole new internal shuttle, but the external model remains the Type 6 until Season 3. And, despite never visiting a starbase, they have a whole new model of shuttle. I think the Type 15 or something to that effect. Also, can you name the other auxiliary craft you can see in that shot?
Yes, the captain's yacht.
Captain's yacht.
Yeah.
I want to say Calypso, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's
Callisto?
right.
It is the Calypso.
Calypso, I think. Yeah, Calypso. Yes. Yeah, it's a good shot anyway. I like to see that. Next picture. Riker and Data monitor their progress through the scattering field. When Data detects power buildup in the Temerian ship, they try to warn Worf, but he doesn't get the message. and they get fired on.
A nice Riker lean, and the black box is back. Love it.
Yeah, we got a Riker lean.
This shot could be any episode, couldn't it?
It could, yeah.
Pretty much black box, Riker lean. Yeah.
We got a good Riker lean though, so I had to put that in.
And it had data in it.
Well, obviously.
Yes.
Riker's
The last
crotch,
scene
data, it's got everything.
You had a photo up last time where you were narrating that Riker and Data were figuring out something, but the photo had Riker and Worf in it. So I was like, But thank you this time.
Yeah, there you go.
That was right. I'm happy.
There you go. Look, he's back. He's back. He's back. He's going again.
He's got a lot of he's got a lot of sass in this episode. His first one, he looked like he was like he was trying to sell everyone, or at least get everyone to buy like a timeshare. Yeah. And then in this one, he's got this look like, okay, if this is what you guys want to do, I wouldn't recommend it, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Subspace said Riker's facial hair means it can't be from season 1, surely. So that narrows it down a little bit. Also,
the uniforms.
Troy's uniform means that it couldn't have been too late on because she starts wearing the blue. But definitely could be any of about 4 or 5 middle seasons.
Yeah.
The story, did you ever cover the story of Riker's beard?
I think we must have done at some point.
Okay, well, for those who don't know, he just grew it out in the off season, and he had a beard. He was told to shave it for the first season. He was supposed to be more like Kirk, and Kirk didn't have a beard. And he came back at the for season 2 for like pre-production meetings or something, and Jane went, "That looks nice. You should keep that." It was just as simple as that. It looks very, very, very naval, I think, is the term he used. So, because it was a very, very naval thing to do, is to have a strong beard. So they kept it on for that reason.
I like him with a beard. I think I'm just obviously I'm a bit of a beard fan.
I would concur. I'm a beard fan as well, but I didn't grow one.
Tabby's a beard fan. She did marry the beard after all.
It'd be nice to be able to grow one. Having stubble all the time is annoying because my face either looks dirty.
You can just do what Data did and glue one on.
Yeah, I'm not a grower. So anyway,
are you a shower?
He's a shower, not a grower. Okay, right.
Yeah, I show my baby face.
I've got a question 3 to read out. Okay.
Yeah.
Question 3. The Temerians fire on the shuttle, disabling what? A, the port thrusters. B, the starboard thrusters. C, the impulse engines. Or D, nothing but Worf's ego. So what do the Temerians disable on the shuttle? Port thrusters, starboard thrusters, impulse engines, or nothing but Worf's ego? Hopefully, there you go.
Are you sure that's been said correctly? But this question, I don't think it's worded correctly, or at least the answers aren't worded correctly. But I'm gonna go ahead with what was mentioned in that region of conversation.
Okay.
But somebody pull up the video.
Yeah, you feel free to go back and watch the. Bring up Netflix, Tavi, and go back, find the scene. Yeah, there you go.
Wookie's asked Sean, what is the person doing in the background? What operations, etc.?
I thought he meant behind me, and I was like, is there a person there? But he meant behind you, Monty, on the bridge. I think the one beside engineering, one over, is environmental controls, is it?
Oh, that one. This one here. Could be. I can't remember. I wonder if I can see in my...
Yeah, do you have the model there?
Nah. Wookie says yes.
It is environmental.
I didn't remember. Right. You're stretching me with that one.
It is environmental. Well done, yeah.
How often did I need to use it?
I had to look at my model.
Okay. Environmental control and then 1 over is mission ops, and then it's science 1 and 2.
Science 1 and 2, yes.
Sorry, from left to right, science 1, science 2, environmental control, mission ops, and then engineering. Perfect.
Yeah.
Although they can reconfigure them depending on what they need to do.
Right.
Because I think Science 2 changes between some of the early seasons and the late seasons. it does different things, if I recall. I can't quite remember.
Right, did I? Oh, no, right. Picture. You got me questioning question 3 now. Well, all right, good.
Ensign J.
Worf reports that he could still land on the planet, but it will not be able to take off again, so Riker orders him back to the Enterprise. In the observation lounge, the staff ponder what to do now. Geordi might have a transporter option in a day or two, but Deanna's worried that they'll be dead by then. Worf's confident, though, in Picard's abilities as a warrior.
And the question for that we're going on, that's here right now, question 3, is the Tamarins fire on the shuttle, and what is it they disable once they fire it? The one that Worf is trying to take down.
Yeah. Yeah. Smiler Rainbow did put a question in chat. Worf, they...
The oh, yeah. No. The question and the answer is on there,
Yeah. Worf thinks they should attack the Tamarians now, catching them off guard, but Riker doesn't want to start a war, but he'll take that course of action if there's no other option. He orders Deanna and Data to come up with a strategic way of communicating. Back on the planet, Picard wakes and finds his alien friend has wandered off. He inspects the Tamarians' camp and finds the brooch, the items that he's put around the campfire, and some kind of captain's log that's unintelligible. In Data's quarters, we have...
Sorry, you just got me with captain's log. Sorry, go on.
yeah.
You have to when you're camping.
That's what happens when you camp, you know. You can't help it. We're in Data's quarters. Data and Deanna are reviewing the interactions that they've had with the Tamarians. Deanna tries searching for instances of Darmok on the computer, but there are 47 instances of them. So we have a 47 reference.
We do. There were actually, there's been, to this point in the episode, 347 references, if I may.
Oh.
There was, when they were in the shuttle, they had a few things like 0.13 something or another density and a blah, blah. They had a 4 out of 7 particle gradient. And then one of the first references they had here, there was the 7th dynasty of emperors on Condor 4. So that was a 7 and a 4. And then there were 47 references. So yeah, about a 4, 7, a 7, 4, and a 47.
I was just going to say, as we already mentioned, this is Data's new quarters because they blew up the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
How dare they? I mean, the old quarters were pretty much everyone's quarters. They were like...
Yeah, they had that kind of semicircular wall.
Even in Worf's and Geordi's and...
Even in the Naked Now, when they went to the other ship, it was still that quarters, yeah. Because, as I said, you saw that kind of semicircular wall is what really gave it away.
Oh, right, yeah, right. Okay, I got the question wrong. All right, Tavi. All right.
Tavi, I think Deanna might be moving in on your man there.
Yeah, I didn't like how they were put in together, and she need to get all up out his ear, breathing down his neck. The hoe. The hoe.
Yeah.
She ain't the
She's
hoe,
a head
you're
off
the hoe.
Comfortable.
She needs to head off back to Greece, you're saying?
Yeah, Jesus.
She's changed from a moment ago because she was in pink and purple when
I
she...
know. She went and got all sexied up.
They walked
she was
from
gonna
the
be alone with
observation
Data.
lounge to Data's quarters, and she changed on the way.
Mm-hmm. Bitch.
Oh yeah, she wants some.
Yeah.
Everybody wants some of the D, so I can't blame her. Get it, girl. Get it for all of us.
Yeah.
Get some fully functional fun in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I don't know what they'll be doing. Data searches with term Tanagra and again finds many instances, but one of them piques Deanna's interest. An island on Chantal 3.
As I said in the episode, I want to say Maestro, the one where the EMH becomes an opera god. What's the simplest equation of all? 1 + 1 = 2.
So she cross-references it with her previous search to find that Darmok was a mythical hunter on Chantal 3. So they're kind of beginning to get a frame of reference. On the planet, the Temerian runs up again and tries to offer Picard the knife, hoping that he gets it now, with Tamba, his arms wide, but Picard's still not having it until he hears the roar of a creature. And so he decides that maybe it is time to take the knife after all. And that is the end of Act 2.
He looks like he's just slapped him. In that
Or more like the guy was trying to hold his hand, and he's like, "Ew, I'm not like that."
Yeah. Yeah, he's just refusing to accept the knives there. But question 3 then, so the controversial question 3, what was disabled on the shuttle? Was it port thrusters, starboard thrusters, impulse engines, nothing but Worf's ego, or E, none of the above? We've now added, because, I knew I'd got it wrong. If you put B, starboard thrusters, or none of the above, then...
well, I put D because I thought it's clearly hitting the starboard cell in the picture.
Okay, well...
So it can't be that.
You can have you can have D as well, yes.
Worf's ego.
All right, Ruth. I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Well argued.
If you put B, D, E, or anything really, have some points. just have all the points.
So everybody gets points for that then.
D is never the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, everyone got that. I don't think anyone answered A or C.
Sean answered C, Ruth answered D, but we'll give them points anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, everyone but Sean. Sean can't have points.
No, Stu put C as well. No, he put starboards and cell and then wrote.
Temba, his arms open.
Temba, his arms open. Yeah.
Yeah, just give everybody a point.
Yeah. Shaka when the walls fell.
Drunk at a bar and people are just like, "Oh, just give it to him."
Shaka.
Wookie wants points for saying nothing.
You can always have points, Wookie. You can always have points.
That is correct.
Okay, Act 3 then. We're on to Act 3. It's going really smoothly tonight. On the Enterprise. Yeah. On the Enterprise, Worf picks up an electromagnetic disturbance heading towards the two captains. It could be another life form. Riker orders Geordi to get on with his transport idea, but Geordi thinks it's still going to take him a couple of hours.
Yeah, Wookie, just to point out, you reminded me of this. I don't know why there's someone sitting constantly at environmental controls. I realize it's just because framing, because they can fit them in there, but surely there'd be someone at mission ops. You would think that would be the natural station they would be monitoring, but no. They're just checking the air. That's all automated.
Yeah, I guess they got to make sure they've got oxygen.
That is important, though.
Worf and Riker are doing mission ops, but they're looking at the tactical station. Figure that one out.
I don't know.
It's just a place for Riker to lean.
He's got to lean on something, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Lean on me.
Well, it's fairly awkward to shoot from the back consoles out because they have to light so much of the set. And I can see why they didn't do it, but yeah, they're not at the right station.
Has everybody just left Data alone with that whore in there?
Yeah.
Jesus. Mm-hmm. Maybe Riker wasn't so cool with how In Theory left off, and he's like, "Look, we got to give him a win."
Yeah, just leave him alone for 47 minutes. We'll be all right.
They'll figure it out.
So Geordi, with Leffler's help, will be hopefully ready in a couple of minutes, though he doesn't think his efforts are going to be very successful. Riker tells O'Brien to stand by in the transporter room. Meanwhile, on the planet, the animal thing appears, and it's like a predator-like thing. It is disguised. The Temerian thinks Shaka, when the walls fall. On the Enterprise, Geordi and Leffler are ready with their transporter upgrade, and they patch it through to O'Brien in the transporter room. But question 4, what transporter room is the Chief in this week? Is it A1, B2, C3, or D4?
Is there any question on who that actress is? Or...
Leffler.
Yeah.
I did know, but I can't remember her name.
Okay, so we don't.
Ashley Judd.
Ashley Judd. That's the one.
Yeah, she went on to bigger and better things.
I mean, originally this was going to be like, you know, a bit of a smaller role, and then obviously she was cast into it. It was given a speaking role. Apparently, this was the first credit for an appearance on TV for her. And she obviously goes on to be in the episode The Game, where they have those addictive little eye device thingies.
Yeah, bit like
Did we
Ensign
do that
Gomez.
one already?
No, it's coming up.
No.
Okay.
Bit like Ensign Gomez, she was supposed to have a bigger part, and then they just got rid of it. You know the red-headed guy in the Orville, Mercer.
Yeah.
He was in an episode as one of Wesley's friends, and all his scenes got cut, but he was actually both in the Orville and TNG, technically.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, you can see him on YouTube.
I think possibly this was a reshoot. So they got
the uniform.
They got her in for the game, and then they thought,
okay.
well, it would be good if we could have her appear for continuity purposes in another episode. So as this was originally an unnamed actress, they then reshot this scene with Ashley Judd as Leffler, so that in the game we go, oh look, it was her from that helped Geordie a few episodes ago.
It's plausible. It's relatively well. There's only 2 actors in it, and yeah, they don't move around, so the lighting is quite simple and the blocking is quite simple. So yeah, I suppose it's possible.
It's thought that's the case because she doesn't appear on any of the call sheets for this episode.
Oh, and also, as I said, because obviously there's the last panel to the right of where you can't see, it's fairly easy to light them, and they don't move around a lot. So yeah, relatively simple to shoot.
She was instrumental in the Me Too movement as well, and in the accusations of Harvey Weinstein and getting him convicted. So that's
Yeah. So was Anthony Rapp, funnily enough.
Wow.
Did
Anthony
anything
Rapp,
really happen to Weinstein though?
Anthony Rapp got Spacey cancelled. He lost in court against him, but he got him cancelled. Who plays Culver or Stamets, one of those.
Yeah, he plays Stamets.
Stamets, yeah.
Yeah, the albino one. Anyway.
Yes. Okay, so yes, put your answers in chat. Back on the planet, the Temerian tries to convey strategy with Picard, with Usami army with his fists open and his army with his fists closed. Picard is starting to understand their languages by citing examples, by metaphor. So he moves away from him, as fists open to lure the predator in.
I would be fairly confident if someone kind of did fist open, fist closed, and they didn't understand what they meant, I would get it from the body language without having to understand the verbal language. Yeah, in reference to this kind of situation.
They could have done a lot more gesturing, really.
You'd expect it, yeah.
I figured this being the future and everything, this episode could have ended with hand puppets or drawings, honestly.
Tavi, do you know how you stop an Italian from talking?
Ooh, how?
You tie their hands behind their back.
Silly. Thank you.
Anyway, the Temerian captain is really pleased with Sukat, his eyes uncovered.
Yeah, basically. About goddamn time.
Yeah. The predator appears again and Picard gets a stab in before the beast flings him. The Temerian then gets attacked, but the Enterprise tries to beam Picard up, hindering Picard in helping his fellow captain.
Doesn't it look like he's screaming there are 4 lights in that one?
There are 4! Beamed up.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before, and I was only talking about the glitter in the jar for the other effect, but all that transporter effect is a silver pom-pom being...
Pom-pom, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, like what a cheerleader would use, yeah, just being tinsel, basically, just being shushed about against a black background.
Yeah. On the Enterprise...
So innovative.
Sorry, Terry?
I was like, that's so innovative. That's all we need for transport technology is cheerleader pom-poms.
Yeah.
That's what's inside those machines, actually. Just shaking, shaking, shaking.
Yep. On the Enterprise, they cannot maintain the lock on Picard, so Riker contacts the Temerians to try to get them to stop the dampening field, but all he gets in response was a Kolash when it rises. Whatever that means. So he doesn't get anywhere.
Means hold your whisht, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Here's a shot. I just realised earlier I didn't actually include a shot of the beast thing, so this is just
the
a...
Borg Queen.
An
or not the
obligatory
Borg Queen,
shot.
the Alien Queen, the Xenomorph Queen.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that is...
It almost...
It's a great suit, I have to say. It's maybe it looks more cheesy without the effects on it, but it actually looks fairly decent. It holds up well.
I thought it looked more like a Triceratops head on a regular person until you actually froze the frame there. Because when I saw it in the episode today, and I was like, "Oh, is that a Triceratops?" And
oh, you see the spikes. Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, isn't it? It's got these spikes.
Well,
It wasn't
do
in
know,
that.
Head on the side.
I do know that Michael Westmore had all these, like, you know, the way you get bird watching books and stuff. He had just a stack of them with all sorts of insects and animals and tapirs and mollusks and all sorts of things, and he'd just go to random pages and put things together. When he was doing the Gem Hadar, for instance, they're more or less just based on rhinos, you know. So I wouldn't be very much surprised if he based the Gem Hadar on rhinos, that he based this creature on a Triceratops, or partially at least. It's very possible.
So Space Chat says, will please someone mention Kayshawn?
Kayshawn.
that's
Kayshawn! Lower Decks represent.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, I see.
Temerian.
The Temerian in
Yeah.
Lower Decks. I
The only
didn't know
other
his name.
Sumerian we see, yeah.
Ah, yes.
I love it
Only-
when they pop those in at lower decks. I was way too happy when they brought in the
exocomp.
the exocomps. I'm like, yes, and then she's like, I'm only doing this to piss off my dad.
I was gonna say Smiler Rainbow, but it's Peanut Hamper. It's a similar
Peanut
kind of thing.
Hamper, yeah, that's it. Peanut Hamper, yeah.
So this was released in 1991 in the US. It's just 2 weeks shy. 28th December 94 in the UK, and Kayshawn was, I think, more or less 30 years to the day. Later that they came out. So so we didn't see them for 30 years.
Yeah, that's a hell of a gap. Wookie
Wookie
thinks...
says it looks a bit like Predator, like shimmering and, you know.
Yeah, it is.
So
like proto-predator.
the episode Kayshawn His Eyes Open was 19th of August 2021, and this episode was, I've lost the tab now, 30th of September 1991.
Wow.
So give or take 6 weeks, it was almost 30 years to the
30 years
day.
apart.
Oh, wow. Nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the transport fails and Picard heads over to the stricken Temerium, but he's not in a good way. Shaka, when the walls fell.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's the
How
end
many
of Act
times are
3.
you going to shoe-on that one in? Is the last question going to be how many times have I said Shaka?
Shaka, when the walls fell. Yeah, no. That's just how
I'm trying not to, like,
that's how the act ends. So, you know, it's the last thing he says. So, yeah. That was the end of Act 3. Yeah.
Oh. I haven't recorded everybody's answers.
So, yeah, question 4
I
was
remember seeing A's.
what transporter room was the chief in this week? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4? And it was 1. Unusually enough for O'Brien, he was in transporter room 1.
3, didn't he?
Yeah, he's normally in
usually
3. Yeah, there you go. So, Act 4.
Yeah, it did occur to me when we rewatched earlier that I thought it was unusual is he was in 1 and he had a favorite transporter room, and again it wasn't 1.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're numbered from the top down, and actually I was going to say and the majority will be in the saucer section because that's where majority of the people live. So I suppose it makes sense that 1, 2, 3 would be where he normally was. You'd expect 1 to be reasonably close to the bridge.
Dan asks, would you like to see O'Brien come back in Picard season 3?
That would be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Everyone's
absolutely.
coming back though. It's just too many.
I think I would watch it. Someone told, aside from the deliciousness that was even teased in Picard season 3, I would definitely go back for some O'Brien.
I'd love to see O'Brien. Could they make him a lieutenant commander in charge of a ship and then have Ensign Kim run the ship or something fun like that? That's more of a lower decks thing. But I'd know the only thing about bringing O'Brien back is if you bring O'Brien back, then you have to start bringing DS9 people back. And if you start bringing DS9 people back, Avery won't come back and do DS9 again. So would it be great if they took the Defiant out of mothballs to come in and save the day? And kind of like in that episode.
How would they even work Cisco back into it anyway? It's not like he's still serving in Starfleet.
He can just come back out of the temple and be fine. But basically, they probably would have done something with DS9, except for Avery just won't do it again. They like something similar to Star Trek Picard. They've thrown out lots of ideas, but there's nothing confirmed. But more or less, something DS9 would have happened, but Avery won't come on board, so that just stops it.
I think they could have done something without him.
Yeah, they could do it without him, definitely.
He's gone off to becoming
continuity anyway.
He's in the temporal realm and now he's now a non-corporeal being, so he doesn't really need to be in it.
He's not both non-corporeal and non-chronological, I think is the word I would use there. He exists at a time as well, so I suppose they could, but I think they won't do anything without him, so it's annoying.
Yeah, non-linear.
Non-linear, that's the one. Yeah.
Non-linear. Yeah. Right, Act 4.
I've got to say, this one is much nicer than the other one, but it's a bit strange. It's supposed to be an Italian Merlot, but it smells just like a Rioja. How?
It's not dodgy?
No, it's very, very tasty, but it is definitely more Rioja-y than a Merlot.
Oh.
This Capri Sun is in dedication to Supreme Panko because I hate the word wholesome, but drinking a Capri Sun on a channel like that, it's just wholesome. It's like, ooh. But gotta clean my mouth out. I hate that word, wholesome.
Thanks to good old global warming, Champagne region in France isn't the best as opposed to the Champagne region in Japan. But Champagne in France isn't the best place to grow champagne anymore. You're better off growing it in the south of England because it's actually too hot and it doesn't rain enough. Because of the way global warming's gone, you have to go further north. So if you're doing it around Devon or Bedford or something, you get much better wine.
Camel Valley, Cornwall is lovely.
I have been known to buy a decent bottle of Cornwall.
Oh, the West Country is... the West Country, you're getting the Gulf Stream as well. So yeah, you're well in.
Yeah, I'd recommend it, the Camel Valley bottle of Cornwall.
For some reason, we've no Irish wine yet, but we'll get there.
Oh.
Yeah, we do whites really well, just not good for the reds. Right.
I need to drink more wine, it seems.
Is Cologne in Germany the best place to go for Cologne?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It would be embarrassing if it wasn't, wouldn't
it? Is Glasgow the best place to go for a Glasgow kiss?
Probably is, to be fair.
Dundee for their cakes.
Gotta be. Okay. Right, Riker pulls the senior staff together in the observation lounge, and Beverly notes that whilst Picard's life signs are stable, the Temerians are not. Seems like he's in trouble. Temerians have lowered the scouring field, so now the transporting is now impossible. Worf is like, can we attack now? Can we do it?
Jesus, Worf, sit down.
No, sit down, Worf, sit down. Geordi comes up with a plan to disable the field generator, so Riker's like, make it so. Worf's trigger fingers getting itchy. Troy and Data explain the difficulty of their language and that it's based on a narrative imagery. One must know the context as well as the words of the language. So, for example, if you wanted to convey a message of love, you might say something like Juliet on her balcony. But without knowing who Juliet was or why she was on the balcony, you wouldn't understand the meaning of the message.
Isn't that all language, though? If you walk into a room and they're in the middle of a conversation and you just catch a random sentence, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
No, but you could explain it, couldn't you? Whereas here they can't.
They can't explain it. How do they teach their young people the language when?
That's a nice D-pick, though.
It is. It is. I was about to say I'm gonna interrupt y'all, but look at the schnoz.
And he's got a high forehead. So that's one thing we have in common. It just reminds me of the episode where whichever Klingon tries to give him a headbutton game, and that it just bounces off him.
Yes.
He's got a bit of a golden glow there.
He has. He's got a very bouffanty hair in this episode as well.
Yeah, in my head,
he had to get himself cleaned up after leaving quarters with Troy. That's what that was, because he wasn't looking so happy in the first half of this episode. Now he's glowing. Something.
Yeah, he's had his happy.
Yeah. Diagnostics. She ran them diagnostics.
Yeah. Yes. So Daya points out that they need to understand the narrative of the imagery that the Temerians are trying to convey. And the chances of them being able to understand that is extremely unlikely. Question 5. In the Temerian vernacular, who had his arms wide? Who had his arms wide? Was it A, Sokath, B, Mirab, C, Shaka, or D, Temba? Who had his arms wide? Sokath, Mirab, Shaka, or Temba?
I am your father. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, and can I just say, having a Shakespeare reference without having it included in a pogo song is very disappointing.
Oh.
In faith, I do not love thee.
Yeah, we've got a little while for the next.
We do. Yeah, we have to wait to. Is it Timescape or?
Yeah.
The one you see at the back of the runabout, whatever that's called.
Yes. Back on El Adrel 4, Picard sits with the dying Temerian. He wants to understand more about Darmok and Jalad, so he pleads Tamba with his arms wide. Darmok tells him, tell me more. Darmok, tell me more, Darmok. The Temerian replies with Darmok on the ocean. So Picard surmises he must be alone in the ocean. Tanagra on the ocean. So as this is a place, maybe Tanagra was an island. Darmok at Tanagra and Jalad on the ocean. Okay, so Darmok, being alone on the ocean, arrives at Tanagra. Jalad on the ocean. Jalad at Tanagra. So they arrive separately but end up together on the island. And then he gets the beast at Tanagra. So they meet, come across a beast. They have to work together to defeat a common enemy. Darmok and Jalad on the ocean. And they leave together as friends. Picard realizes that Temerians must have known about the monster here and hoped that something similar would happen with them. Now the Temerian captain wants a story from Picard, so Picard tells him about Gilgamesh and Enkidu at Uruk. They were two enemies that, through their struggles together, became friends. And unfortunately, by the end of the story, the Temerian passes away. Yeah. And that was the end of Act 4.
Subspace says, is this secretly a class on how to speak fluent Temerian?
It is. It is.
I don't think there's a huge vocabulary, really.
Oh, and Stuplum says, Dathon, when the heart stops.
Oh,
I think thanks to Lower Decks, there's quite a vocabulary built up now of about sort of 40 or so references.
Yeah, the Memory Alpha has an entry called Temerian language, and and it does have a description. So Arnok at the race in Atara is just running. Arnok on the night of his joining. Congratulations of a great achievement. I'm not going to read them all. I'll give you another random. Sorry, hold on. Rapunki when he joined the Seven. Greeting, expressing honor at joining a new group. Yeah, there's a lot more, but yeah, Lower Decks has expanded it more than this episode certainly.
Yeah, Stu Plum's made his own update from when his heart stops.
Yeah.
That's so terrible. This episode made me super happy. Oh, Panko, Tabby, when the Panko arrived.
It's that happiness.
Ensign Felfer and the Me Too movement.
Oh, that doesn't even make me happy.
Very good.
Sorry,
I remember.
This is very good.
This is bad, but Ashley Judd
Go ahead,
and Harvey
Judd.
Weinstein at the casting couch.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, went too far.
You did ask what happened to him. Apparently 23 years in prison, which is effectively life, and he's appealed a couple times and
Well, yeah, when you're
been turned down.
when you're nearly 80 going to prison.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, so they finally locked him up. Okay, good. I didn't
Oh,
realize. I
yeah.
didn't know what happened.
Even when he went to court, didn't he, with Zimmer frame and that to make it look like he was frail and fragile and dying.
Oh my god. I remember this episode vindicated my teachers because I hated it so much. I have a hard time with indirect information. So with the autism, learning literature was a freaking nightmare because I could not understand what anyone was talking about because they wouldn't just say it straight. And there were so many questions about it. And Gilgamesh was the worst. I was so irate with the teacher. And I think I had like a miniature fit in class. And I'm like, why do I need to know this? Why? And I just, at some point, it just felt like insanity to me. I'm like, why are you doing this to people? This makes no sense. I'm never gonna. And I was like, who needs
trying to read
this? And then
Shakespeare. It's all a sort of metaphor and really difficult to read.
So when I saw this episode, yeah, I was happy.
I sympathize and understand completely, but Irish parables are all like that. You know.
Oh my.
So you'll say a thing like, "It's a long road that has no turning," which is kind of like saying variety is the spice of life. You know, it just means, you know, if you go along a straight road for long enough, it gets very boring.
Yeah.
You know, it's metaphor within metaphor. It gets messy.
Yes, it takes too much. No, but only now because I could understand that story in Star Trek, and I was like, okay, it was worth it. It was worth it now.
Or Elaine Hinton now the Hinton Fane. There's no fireplace like your own. Well, actually, no, that one's quite easy. Anyway, sorry, we'll move on.
We've got more Tamarian in chat. We've got Tavi when the Spiner shows up. So I'm guessing that just means like horny, right? We've got,
Oh my god.
Mark and Maria at the Bubba That must be like happy children.
Happy children, yeah.
And then Stu Plum when the grandchildren arrive. That's also got to be like happy and excited.
Wookie feels your pain,
We have
Tavi,
the
with
beard in
learning.
chat.
And
Just so you guys know, the beard absolutely adores being called Mr. Tavykins.
Mr. Tavykins.
His cheeks got all pink and funny.
Mr. Tavykins has arrived.
So cute.
Yeah.
I love it too.
But
Are you saying? Are you saying good evening, sweetie, as a good night, and you're heading out, or go the Kvolith because you're coming in? What?
Maybe he will let you know.
he will let you know. Question 5 then. The answers to question 5 was who had his arms wide, Sokath, Mirab, Shaka, or Temba? And it was, of course, Temba.
It's going down.
Yeah.
I'm yelling timber.
I've got to give you one of those on that one, I'm afraid, Sean. Dong. Right. Of course, I realised after I said the question that I literally said the answer out straight away, pretty much, which I hadn't realised I'd done when I read this thing earlier, because I was rushing to get these questions in, and I hadn't realised I'd put that there. But never mind. And we're on to the last act of the day. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Super speed, because because of last week we fit 2 in.
Yeah, that's right. It seems really brief now. Yeah. Yes. Right. Get the picture up. Another great shot. So we're back on the Big D, where Riker's decided to start a war and attack the Temerians. Worf is thrilled.
Finally.
He's like, yes, bring it on. Data reports the Temerian captain has passed away. From the sensor log, they can see that. And the entity is approaching their position once again. On the planet, Picard readies himself for an encounter with the proto-predator. And in space, the Enterprise fires at the Temerians and knocks out the dampening field, and they beam Picard up just in time.
There was originally an error in this thing, which they
There was.
Were you going to say the same, Tammy? But yeah, apparently they originally had the firing coming from the what was it from? This...
It comes from the torpedo bay.
Oh yeah, rather than the source section.
There it is.
Yeah. They just took that out entirely, didn't they? You saw like just a shot of part of the saucer section.
Yeah, they literally just took that out and replaced it with this shot, which is from Best of Both Worlds, where the Enterprise is firing on the Borg cube.
Well, I can tell you there's been 20 years of conventions where people have brought it up over and over and over again.
People brought it up immediately.
Drexler been like, I'm sorry, we know, Yeah,
they were flooded with fan complaints almost immediately. But yeah, they finally fixed it.
They finally fixed it, probably after, I don't know, 30 years or something. I don't know.
To be fair, we live in the age of Twitter. I was literally joking earlier on this afternoon with Aaron Walke, one of the writers for Prodigy, just addressing a plot hole that I felt was there in Prodigy at the moment. And he goes, "Oh, you'll wait and see the episode." But we live in a different world now. You're not writing in letters and waiting weeks to get a response. If you ever get a response, you're just like, "Oh, I'll just tweet this guy."
Yeah, straight
half the time
on.
they do get back to you.
Aaron's really great though, at responding to fans.
But there mustn't be. Is it only like a couple of hundred people that actually go on Twitter and annoy these people? Am I one of the only ones? It seems like they'd be inundated.
Most likely.
You know? But
it's you and Dan. It's just you and Dan.
I guess we're just that 1% of Star Trek nerds that actually go out and you know ask the producers of the show and the writers very basic questions about why are the wrong stations. But, you know.
That's
why is Laura the communications
right
officer not on the? Why is she sitting at the con? You know,
So too many midichlorians. You're on a different level, Sean.
They fire at the Temerians, and the Temerians fire back at the Enterprise, doing some significant damage. Riker raises the shields to maximum, but the Enterprise still takes a bit of a battering.
They bitch slapped the Enterprise.
They did. Yep. The power went out, which made the bridge look all cinematic. Picard arrives on the bridge and conveys to the Temerians second in command, that they came away like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. And now they're Darmok and Jalad on the ocean. So he's like, The second seems pleased with this. With Sokoth, his eyes are open. Picard tells him, though, Picard mixes his metaphors here and tells him that the beast at Tanagra, Uzani, with his army, Shaka, when the walls fell, to convey the meaning of their captain has passed away.
Oh, yeah.
But like any language you learn, if you can kind of muddle together a sentence, they know what you mean. You might necessarily say it the right way, but they understand enough of what you meant to say that they'll give you a pass. So
yeah.
They appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's understood them before, have they? So this is
as
a big
close.
step.
Yeah, it's a massive step, I guess. And he's just pleased that they've conveyed something. Yeah. So he brings out.
Death was worth it.
Yeah. He brings out his journal and they beam it onto the ship. and they declare that it's Picard and Dathon at Eladril. And with that, they marab with their sails unfurled. Picard offers him back the dagger, but he refuses it, so he keeps it. The power returns to the ship, and Riker asks if they've just made some new friends. And Picard thinks about stabbing Riker. Shall I? Shan't I? Later, in his ready room, Picard is reading. Oh, no. But what book is he reading? Is he reading Homeric hymns, the Book of Genesis, Homer's Odyssey, or Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets?
Did I ever tell you about the time I fixed Percy Weasley broadband?
What?
No.
Well, that's basically the whole story, but I once fixed Percy Weasley.
It's a good story. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's short and to the point.
Yeah.
Percy, though. Oh. Black sheep, isn't he, eh?
No, for whatever reason, I'd never watched any of the Harry Potter films, but just I was chatting to this guy for about half an hour fixing his broadband back when I did tech support, and I just Googled his name when I was chatting to him. Probably shouldn't be doing that, but I was like, "But I know you from somewhere." And he goes, "Well, you might do. I'm an actor." He goes, I go, "Harry Potter." And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Oh, right, grand." And then I went, "Oh, sure, I've never even watched them. I don't know why I even knew your name." And then I brought him right back down to earth. I didn't mean to, but I was like, but in my own mind, I was like, why did I see his name and I see 100 names a day and just go, that name is triggering something in my brain, and then look him up? But for some reason, I obviously saw just in the back of my mind, I knew who he was. There you go. Nice guy, and his broadband works, or at least he used to.
Oh, good. Well done for sorting it out for him. Yeah. So Riker stops by with the damage report for Picard to review, and he notices the book that Picard's reading. And Picard explains that maybe more familiarity with his own mythology may help them relate to the Temerians. Picard also notes that Dathon sacrificed his life in the hope of communication and wonders if he would be willing to do the same. Riker leaves and Picard picks up the knife and looks out of the ready room window into space while repeating the gesture he saw the Temerian engage in upon learning about the captain's death, paying his own silent tribute to a fallen comrade. And that's how the episode ends.
Oh.
I have many things to say.
Many things.
I just, haven't been slotting things in very well. What with the fact that, the pace and the trying to do the quiz scoring.
We have been a bit fast this evening. Sorry, go on.
A couple of sort of potential goofs, discuss, if you will. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Picard can't light a fire. That's not really great, considering he's gone through survival training, all that kind of thing, and he gives it pretty easy.
I mean, he pretty much gets there and it just blows out. It's like if he just tried one more time, he probably would have got it going.
Yeah, exactly. And also, there's a thought that for the science and engineering required for the Temerians to get to a point in society where they've got starships and everything like that, it requires really sort of precise scientific languages, the ability to have measures to call things a thing. I mean, this might be narrow-minded thinking, but there's a thought that that kind of progression in science would require a much more precise language than the flowery metaphors of which they employ.
Yeah.
Maybe their speaking is totally different than their writing. Like
that's true. Are you familiar with the concept of Unicode at all?
Uh-huh.
And so it's basically they're working kind of a universal language, but it would be more or less mathematical than machine learning. So you can, if you put a sentence in English, translate it to French, translate it to Japanese, translate it to Spanish, and translate it back to English, it won't be the same. So they're, companies like Google are working on trying to simplify a way of doing that. So they do their initial response is kind of like prime numbers, just to show they're intelligent or whatever. So they could work, their written language could be more kind of mathematical almost.
Yeah,
but their spoken language is more
by
metaphorical.
Written language alone, then that I guess that could work. It would just mean, obviously, they'd have to do a lot of reading when they're doing anything scientific.
It's like I always think there must be like Klingon physicists or like scientists, because they've got like the technical prowess of the Federation, haven't they?
But you only ever see the warriors.
No,
it's not really
Everyone's
until
warrior.
Deep Space Nine that you start to see, like sort of Klingon chefs and stuff that own shops and things like. They're not all warmongers, but that's kind of the ones that you mostly see.
Well, I mean, yeah, you simply can't have a society of all warriors. I mean, even the Spartans had cooks and cleaners and all sorts of artisans and tailors and every other thing. They just needed to have them. Now, in the case of the Spartans, they actually, much like the Klingons, they conquered other people and used them as slaves, but they still needed those functions as societies. It just actually, again, much like the Klingons, like with the higher houses and the lower born. Certain people were Spartans and others were citizens, and other people just lived there, and you could just kill them on the street. It didn't matter. They were, they had no value. So I guess it could be that kind of society.
And also there's Tanagra observatories. You probably
I did not know.
There's an internet-based network of telescopes sharing information on stellar phenomenon, which was named after this episode. Based in it links various observatories together, but they're located in Arizona, USA, Perth, Western Australia, and Oslo, Norway. Pretty cool.
I was just going to say on this shot as well, as I just read up before watching it, I understand this is some sort of cardboard miniature. So I don't know if it's affixed to the camera, or how exactly they're doing it, because apparently it's not a full size. They're not looking at the outside of the set. They've overlaid that something like a matte painting between Picard and the camera. But it's very well done, and it's not particularly obvious. Although in some of the comparison shots you see it, they don't line up correctly. But that's only because I live in the age of the internet, and it's very easy to check those things. I wouldn't notice otherwise.
You kind of expect it to pan all the way out and show how big the ship is, but it doesn't. I wanted a kind of a red dwarf sort of pan out.
Oh, and there is a little Doctor Who thing, just for yourself, Ruth. Russell T Davies once read the synopsis for this episode, but for whatever reason didn't watch it. And then he said, it's such a fantastic episode, and I like the synopsis so much, the reality of the episode will never be as good as it is in my mind. So he never watched it, but he loved the idea of it. No, he still hasn't watched it. But the episode Midnight of Doctor Who, where he's on the little shuttle and the creature keeps repeating what people say and kind of jumps from person to person. That is based partially on this episode. But even though Russell T Davies didn't see it, he liked the idea of having to mimic each other and repeat, and he took from that and twisted it and made the episode Midnight.
What was that episode? Midnight?
I think it was called Midnight. They're on a shuttle. David Tennant's on a shuttle, and he's going up these mountains made of crystal, and like a creature gets into the shuttle, and it starts taking over the passengers. And when someone else talks, they kind of repeat and mimic. It's kind of like The Thing almost. And the conversation, they kind of babble and mimic, and eventually they kind of shoot a beam of light in and it goes away. But it's roughly based, well, not roughly, but it's partially the inspiration from this episode. The idea of this mimicking thing. He read it and completely twisted it in his head from what the actual episode was, and it's probably one of the better episodes of the Tennant era. Really good one.
Dan said he added that to Memory Alpha. There you go.
Oh well, sorry for lifting your knowledge. Fair play to you, Dan.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Darmok is comrade backwards. I don't know, coincidence or not. But they are sort of comrades in arms.
Yeah.
What else? Some stuff on the reception, if I can just find that section. Patrick Stewart apparently referred to this episode during the funeral service of Gene Roddenberry, who died less than a month after this episode aired. And also Rick Berman, although he was originally against this episode, which is why they took it to Joe Manosky, later on says that it's one of his favourite episodes of all time. Apparently, it's also used by linguistics teachers to help students understand, differences of languages and how to sort of break things down and understand them and that kind of thing. That's all.
Very cool.
I'm sure it's the most memed episode certainly in the Next Gen Facebook group. People are constantly referencing this one.
Yeah. It's up there with the face palms.
Apparently,
yeah, I was gonna say he has a face palm there.
Apparently, people have started using the phrases from this episode and to talk to scammers, and it got used so much that even the scammers started figuring out what it was.
I literally saw it on Twitter today, and I was like, someone did that, and they were posting the whole story, and I said, funny you should mention it. I copied this episode. So random Twitter person I mentioned, if you're here, make yourself known.
Very good.
Also, the group is on 399 subscribers. So
I know.
Everyone hasn't. If it's just that one person.
Yeah, just that
hit
one.
That button.
It's gotta be number 3.
Yeah, one away. That'd be a Christmas present, wouldn't it? But yeah, just one. Right, start thinking about what you'd give this episode out of 10, from 0 to 10. What would you rate this episode at? Put it in chat. I personally really like this episode. As you know, I have the cup with it. I tried to fit as many references of their language in as possible because I just think it's. I think it's clever.
Wookie added another answer to the books.
Oh, did he?
That he was reading, which was "The Moon's a Balloon," a book by David Niven.
David Niven, crimes. Yeah. I haven't read that one.
I cannot for the life of me find my paddle. Oh well.
Oh no, you've lost your paddle.
I just love it when you say things like that, Sean.
Oh, don't you worry, it'll come back pretty soon.
I've got my paddle.
Yeah, I don't know what I did with it, but it obviously has walked and grown legs. Given I live on my own, I'm not quite sure how that happened, but there you go.
Haven't you only had it for about 2 weeks?
Oh, I've had it for several months at this stage.
Wow.
I've
Feels like it's been really recent since you started using it.
Yeah, he's up.
At least 2 or 3 months.
Smiler and Subspace just did a jinx. Smiler said, "Hope you're not up Shaka Creek without a paddle," and at exactly the same time, Subspace put up Shit Creek without a paddle.
Yeah, Shit Creek. Yeah. Talking about David Niven, I just think, what character did David Niven play that people find unexpected? Anybody know?
I don't know that one.
You're probably all too young to know who David Niven is.
Very much so, yeah.
Wookie got it. Oh, well done, Wookie. Yeah, James Bond. Yeah.
Oh, what, in audio dramas or something?
No, in a film. Yep, Dan got it as well, 007. Yeah,
Which film?
He played Casino Royale.
The parody one?
Yeah, it's a comedy. Yeah, it's a...
oh, yes. I know I've seen it, I just...
I think it's Woody Allen. It's a Woody Allen comedy, I think. But yeah, David Niven plays James Bond.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess of a film. I do remember seeing it, I just didn't...
1967. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Did you ever see... Did you ever see... what's his name? Oh, sorry, when they did Austin Powers, one of the suits he wears, the whole suit he wears, it's basically just Cliff Richard at the Eurovision singing "Congratulations," because he wears this blue velvet suit with a big white cravat, and it's just pure. It's the most Austin Powers thing you've ever seen. if you just Google there when you have the screen, Cliff Richard, "Congratulations." You don't have to play the song. You can just look at the image, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Cliff Richard. Richard.
Fun enough, composed by an Irish guy, but it doesn't count as one of our wins. But there you go.
Congratulations. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at. So yeah, look at him there. Yeah.
It's
How Austin Powers could you be?
that is very Austin Powersy, isn't it?
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So, what are your scores then? Firstly, I should say the quiz. Oh, did I ever go back to do? Oh my God, what am I doing? Question 6. Did I give the answers out to question 6?
I don't know.
No.
Everybody answered the same thing. I'm assuming everybody's right.
I guess everyone said A then, did they?
Apart from Wiki, but
yeah.
E.
Except from Wookiee, who went with Harry Potter.
It's a good guess.
No,
And
It's a
then
good
gave
guess.
an additional answer E.
Yeah, it was the Homericans. So, yes, well done for the
No.
A's.
We have 6 people all jointly in first place, and then we have a second and a third place.
Oh wow, 6. Well, I don't know.
Make them slightly harder. I don't know how you can make them slightly
Oh,
harder.
I don't know. People just know their Trek, don't they? And this is one of those episodes which everybody knows really, really well.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, that is hard.
we all get a
It's just-
10, don't we? And then
you're all getting 10 points or
That's-
something.
No, that's
we
not
only put
quite
one
right.
answer, get like
That's-
5.
That's not quite right. What I do is the top place is like 10 points, then 9 points, then 8 points. So the first 6 positions will be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, divided by those 6 people, which actually gives everybody 7.5 points each, but we round up to 8.
Right, everybody gets 8 points. I'm glad you figured that out because
And Wookie gets 4 and Panko gets 3.
right. Hang on. I've got to get my spreadsheet up.
Panko.
Got to get my spreadsheet out. Right. So, what am I doing? Just bear with me, people. Right, season 5. Here we go. So, 8 points to who?
Gryffindor.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's like the Eurovision. This. So, who do we give 8 points to?
Right, so to Tavakins.
Right, so that's you on
Stupler.
17. That's Stuplum on 17.
Sean.
Sean, 8 points. That puts you on 15.
Ruth.
Ruth, that puts you on 17 as well.
Same as everybody else. I
Mazza.
think. Yeah.
Mazza, that puts you on 15.
Subspace.
8 points for Subspace.
And then 4 points for Wookie.
And 4 points for Wookiee.
3 points for Panko.
Wookiee.
Panko.
How many was it, Wookiee?
4. for
4.
Wookie.
And
Wookie
Four.
says lol why, and that's because on question 3 we gave everybody 60 points because we got the question a bit wonky or wrong or whatever.
was it Panko?
And you said, what do I get for not answering? And Montyban said, you get points. So I gave you 60 points.
Oh, well done. So, was that 3 points for Supreme Panko?
Yes, because she also answered one question and got 40 points.
Right. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, just got to do a resort. I've got to remember how do I...
Eurovision scoring.
Yeah.
Subspace says, the sorting hat a cometh. Stuplum says, Mazza, the mathematical genius.
Oh, gosh. That did not go... that
Did
didn't...
not sort so good.
Oh, there we go.
Should we do the episode scoring paddle malarkey?
Yeah, we're doing that now.
Ready for us?
I am just about there. I'm there. I'm there. I am there.
You are cooking on gas.
Right, so here we are. This is the quiz scores. We have a 3-way tie with Tavikin, Stuplum, and Ruth all on 17. We have Sean and Mazma Bob in second place on 15, and Dan, some subspace chatter, are on third place with 8. There we
How
go.
come bronze comes above silver?
Oh, I've done the colours wrong. Oh, God.
Good point.
Hang on. Oh no, now I've given Wookiee a bronze as well, look. Oh God. Right. There we go. And there. Is that better?
Yay.
Hey. Phew. Okay, so scores then. Are we ready?
So the scores in chat is 8.25 as an average. So that would be 8 for the audience score.
Oh, I'm going to change mine. Right. 3, 2, 1. What, you haven't got your paddle, Sean?
I don't know. I'm in place.
find it.
It's definitely within arm's reach of where I'm standing. I just for some reason sitting. I just reason can't see it. But put me down
How
for
many
7.
fingers
for
did
the-
you hold up?
7 I went for.
Here you go. Maybe if I pass, as Wookiee says, if I pass my paddle down, maybe I can pass
Oh,
pass
hang
it.
on.
Hang on. Right.
Maybe
There
I'll
you go.
pass it down. No,
It's definitely here somewhere. I just hold on.
Yeah.
I think
Push
there's a
yourself
wiki
at us.
behind you that's got it.
yeah.
It's here
Maybe
somewhere.
we'll
I know it's here somewhere. It didn't go that far.
What did people put again? I can't.
I did 8.
You did 8.
Tabby did 6. Sean
Terry
did 7.
did 6 and a 7. Yeah.
A 6 tab, that's low.
No.
It's,
I felt
no
this had a major plot hole in it because I feel
Lack
like
a
this
D?
entire issue.
Yeah.
It was lack of D. There was too little data. But the thing is, it's like
Uh-oh.
this entire language issue could have been solved with sock puppets or cartoon drawings or whatever. Like if you don't understand what people are saying, get out the frickin' puppets. Draw a picture.
Pretty sure puppets might not be standard issue on the Enterprise, but I get
It might.
they just get them in the replicator. Yeah.
Yeah, just
True.
show them an animated clip so people can be like, oh.
I've got a little Kermit.
Do it for children.
I got a little Kermit. I don't know. I don't know if that's really going to help though.
It's
Wookiee
more of a
says,
normal
"Can you
thing,
pa-"
really.
Yeah.
Wookiee
Yeah.
says, hey, can you pass something to each other screen to screen? We might have to practice the choreography, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do that again. That was fun.
we could cascade down like a pen or something next time. Or something. Maybe when Sean's got his paddle, we'll do a paddle pass next week.
I will find it. It's here somewhere. I just can't see it right now. Hold on.
Oh, you got your own little paper Riker. I'm afraid we don't all have one to pass.
Yeah,
it
that one
through.
doesn't really work, does it? We need something that everybody
Nah.
has.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all got like a pen, right? I don't know if everybody has a pen.
No, I don't.
Mine is pink. I got a pink. It'll change.
I'd say, does everybody have a mobile phone? But Tavikens can't pass hers because it's what she's using.
It's true.
for-
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got an old Nokia that my kids
Everyone's
have
got a glass of
disassembled
wine,
and used.
right?
Yeah. We can pass the wine around. We'll pass a bottle of wine around next week. Yeah.
It could change color as it goes through.
Ah, there it is. My left-handed pen. Look at that for awkward. See that? Weird
Wow.
shape.
Hey. That's cool.
It's got weird curves, so it fits a left-handed hand.
I mean, is it not curved the same way as a right-handed hand? A right hand?
Well, with a left-handed you push the pen, right-handed you drag it, so you don't have to hold it as tightly because it's kind of just drifting in your hand.
Okay.
Whereas
I see
right hand
that,
you have
yeah.
to like stab the paper, so
Yeah,
it's curved so that you can grip it better and you can kind of push in.
So Wookie's saying you could do it as like a closed fist. Like we could go, take this, take.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Temba has arms open, Temba has arms closed, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Temba, his arms open.
So,
Tavikens, take it from
Temba's
Ruth.
not doing it.
Oh, hold on,
Take it.
hold on. Am I getting it? No.
Yeah, you got it.
Pastor Sean?
We'll have to work on that.
Need a sonic screwdriver.
Pass it up, Sean. Sean, pass it up.
No.
I got it. I'm going to pass it up to Monty Ban. There you go.
There's nothing. It's gone.
I think a little bit of practice is required there.
So we
made Wookie happy. That's
we
good.
we did, yeah. So we've scored it 7.6 in the end. What that looks like against the season as a whole, don't know, but
we will find out.
Yes. Overall, I think a good episode. Interesting premise. It wasn't a bottle episode, Sean. It wasn't a bottle episode. We were literally out on location.
No, they were on location. Yeah, they were at the Batman caves.
Yeah. There was real rocks and stuff and everything. They had a weird predator-like alien attacked them. We had alien spaceships in a spaceship battle with like phaser fires and everything. So, I think generally, next to a lot of episodes in the last season, I've forgotten how kind of bottle episode driven season 4 was in the end.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, they just didn't have the budgets. But I think sometimes, less budget equals better writing. I was talking about the Doctor Who episode Midnight. If you haven't watched it, if you've never seen Doctor Who before, it's a great watch. Regardless, it's just brilliant because it's 6 people in a room, and it's just good writing. And you don't need any context. You never need to see the show before. It's just good writing. And this one was fine. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not as good as I never liked it as a kid, and it's not as good as it's made out to be. But it's a solid episode, so 7 for me.
It was just a bit of a joke, Dan, that every episode last season, Sean would moan that it was a bottle episode because it was just on the Enterprise.
Nearly
everyone, without fail. So it was just like, it wasn't.
I mean, a lot of the episodes, the best episodes are bottle episodes. Measure of a Man, Tin Man, Yesterday's Enterprise, they're all bottles and they're all fantastic. So The Offspring, so yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad episode.
More about
it just
the
means
script and the interplay.
It just means it has to try harder.
We're gonna hear him bitching in the next episode about something being a bottle episode. Just you wait, guys.
Just you wait.
What is the next episode?
Next one's not a bottle episode.
What is the next episode? That's a good question.
Ensign
that's
Rowe.
a great swing in for the trailer.
Yes. Yeah,
of the Bajora.
Got to love a bit of Row.
Yes, so good to see Ensign Rowe appear in the next episode.
She's got a tood on her.
Yes, she has, and of course it introduces the Bajoran as a species, as a race.
Bajora.
But yeah.
Is that the plural of Bajorans? Bajora.
It is in this episode, yeah.
Yeah.
They refer to the planet as the Bajora and the people as the Bajora, and later on it becomes Bajorans. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, a bit like when the Trill came into it for the first time. When you see a new race for the first time that ends up becoming a big deal race. Yeah, that's true. But I'm sure we'll see those differences. Like maybe there'll be some differences in the culture or whatever.
Yeah. And your man Mike, the fixer from Better Call Saul, is he in this one as the terrorist? Is that a different episode? No, we'll find out next week.
Yeah, we'll find out next week. Yeah. So, was there anything else that we haven't covered about this episode that you want to mention? Or
Chewie's saying you should. Wookie's saying you should mime back to Chewie because he's clearly talking to you, Sean.
What was your score?
He doesn't. Oh, you agreed.
Are we happy it wasn't a bottle episode? Good to know.
No. Brilliant. No, that's about it. I think, and we will be back next week. I don't know, some people might be on Christmas break, whatever, but we will still be here kicking and screaming next Wednesday.
Yeah, it will be the last show and then we'll be off for a couple of weeks for Christmas break. But yes, we will be here next week for Ensign Rowe. So,
and can I just say we're 2 weeks early in relation to just being off 28 years exactly from when this aired in the UK to now. So with the Christmas break, we might sync up again.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
we'd
good.
be
cool.
because the air
I
dates
may
are
even-
lining up.
I may wear my red uniform next week in honor of Ro.
Oh
Just
yeah,
for
yeah.
funsies.
Go for it. Yeah.
Because as I said, this episode aired 28th of December in 1994, so we're exactly 2 weeks off. It's two weeks and 28 years off its original air date. So we'll more or less sync up with the break.
Well, we'll try to sync up. Yeah.
It's been lovely having you, Ruth. You're always welcome to join us again if you fancy.
Thank you. It's been lovely being here. I don't think I've had the same lag as I had last time.
No, that's good.
5 seconds.
No, it's been perfect. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. Yep, thank you, Mazima, Bob, Chief Sean, Ensign Ruth, and Tubbykins Turner. Thank you, everyone in live chat. Dan from Subspace Chatter, Wookie, Gujion, Stu, Plum, Smiler, Rainbow,
Panko.
Supreme. Yes.
I go.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you same time next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Live logs and prosper.
Live logs.
La la apa.
Live logs and prosper.